I have returned to the place where my descent into darkness began. After 5 years away, it was here in Hong Kong in 2020. I actually had to stop and face myself. I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't travel around the world and keep running and running. It's strange how when you leave a place, part of you stays there. As soon as I got off the plane, I wasn't even thinking. I was recording videos and my brain just knew where to go. And before I knew it, I was getting money out there, getting an octopus card, and it's refreshing, but weird and strange. Like, I feel like I'm a different person than I was 5 years ago, which I hope I am, but yet I'm not. I'm still that guy. I've learned so much, I've grown so much, I've suffered so much to wind up back in the same places over and over and over again, overthinking and questioning everything, my passion, my purpose, my direction in life, and then all of a sudden it leads me back to here. Yeah, fuck it, I guess I would have a lot to say, but yeah, right now at the moment it just feels eerily familiar. Like I know this place, but I don't know the guy who used to live here. And that's a good thing. I want to see the city a little bit again, and I think the bus is the best way to do that. I do love the train, it's so fast, but the bus ride will take a little over an hour, but it feels like the right thing to do right now. Let's go grab the bus. So many mixed emotions, back in a place where I just wasn't myself. This is the place where I spent about 4 years of my life. Look at this massive behemoth. Lived way up there at the top because I thought it was great and it would make me happy. Had an amazing view of the harbor just on the other side. Living here for so long, a better part of my life, and just walking around the city. I've never hated a place so much in my entire life. I have no idea how I lived here for so long. It's just a sea of humanity and shopping and food. It smells so bad here. The last couple of days have been extremely difficult. People used to ask me how Hong Kong was. I mean, there it is. Look behind me. Everything's just up. There's the other view. You can barely see the sun, and when you do, it's just boiling hot. I regret living here for so long. Regret is probably one emotions I try to avoid so much, hence the channel name, Live to Not Regret. And now I know why. I'm traumatized by doing things that I regret so often. Even if you learn a lesson or you're one of those believers like I am too, where everything happens for a reason. God gave you this situation so you could figure it out. You're still allowed to feel regret. I learned a lot about myself, and I had to go through a place like this to understand how much I despise shit like this. I could never see myself living here again. But it is one of those places where you just get caught up in the lifestyle and the culture. So many people walking around in, like half suits and dress shirts and button downs and beautiful dresses and amazing shoes and beautiful bags and Prada and Gucci and LV. It's endless. It truly is endless amounts of stuff. I feel like that was a thing too. There was a loop hanging over my head of knowing that this place collapsed me and I regret being here and it wasn't a great time for me and I struggled so much but was never able to really come back and say goodbye and get closure on it. I think closure is one of the most important things I found as I've gotten older. Our minds keep these loops open until they come to a satisfying conclusion. Now you can do this mentally with some self-talk or maybe some visualization, but the best way is to go back to a place and get closure, or talk to that person and get closure, have that conversation and get closure. Say the things that need to get said and get closure. I didn't really even know I needed closure from this place. I feel like I can finally forgive myself. I was unconscious. I didn't know any better. First meal, so excited about this. Din Tai Fung. They're famous for these soup dumplings. So good. So I'm trying to process like a lot of my emotions from living here because I feel like I remember this place so well, but I don't remember the person that I was before, which is so strange to feel that way. To be in such a familiar place, but as a completely different person. Because I guess we spend so much of our lives, you stay and you live in a place and you don't notice how much you change over time. This is the first time I've noticed it so tremendously. coming back to a place after 5 years, it's getting magnified and amplified of how different I was. Like, I could never stay here right now and live. I don't know what I was thinking, how I stayed here for that long. Happy to see some things, but I'm definitely most excited about the food. It is some of the greatest food in the world. Arguably the best city for food in the entire world. Little secret, although you might get some weird looks, I always poke a little hole in these bad boys like this so you can preserve your tongue for the next couple days, because otherwise it'll burn your tongue right off. With some soy and vinegar. The key is really to get the perfect temperature, because if they're too hot, they're not enjoyable. They're actually painful. I just saw someone else at another table and he just stopped like chewing. I think he wanted to spit it out but couldn't. But yeah. And then I heard a mouth like, oh my God, it's so hot. And then that's like jjajangmyeon, Chinese style. We're gonna do Din Tai Fung, and then after that, it is off to walk around the neighborhood and Temple Street Night Market. They really are so good. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and you can subscribe to my newsletter. Link is down below. Each week I send out information on travel tips, AI, and self-improvement, so you can get a little bit better each week, and we can do this together. It's like the perfect place to take a little reflection video right now. Look at this. That is some cotton candy sky right there. So here's my story then. In 2015, after living in China, in Wuhan of all places, I moved here with my ex-girlfriend. I lived here for 5 years, then I was gone for 5 years. Basically back in the States, then a year in South America, this past bit in Thailand. And then, yeah, coming here for a visa run. 10 years ago, I moved here. Maybe sometimes you have to go backwards to really see how much you've changed. I know that sounds cliche, right? Like you can look back just to learn how far you've come kind of thing, but I feel like this is different. Sometimes you have to go back to a place. You know, you can't just sit there and reflect and think about who you were, because our brains don't work that way, right? We'll only reflect through the lens that we're in right now. But I feel like coming back here, it's like bittersweet. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm glad I came back. I think always you need closure. I know I got that with my ex-girlfriend. When we finished our 8-year relationship, it was necessary. And I feel like I'm getting that again right now with a place that meant a lot. And this is another bittersweet thing that nobody really ever talks about, is when you live abroad, you travel abroad. If you move around to different places, you know, even if it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, it takes a little piece away from you forever. I wouldn't say maybe it takes something, but it becomes a part of you at the same. It takes something and it becomes a part of you all at once. And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. Like Hong Kong took a lot of my soul, but the part that I didn't want anymore. But I didn't know that at the time. I was so unconscious for so long. That's a crazy lens as well, to be unconsciously living for so long and now come back to a place with this new, not new and improved, but a different frame of reference. A guy who cares about reading and self-improvement and experimenting with life. And I've learned so much about my mind and my brain. To come back to a place that reminds you of an old version of yourself and who you were, I think is extremely powerful. It's almost therapeutic in a way. But it's eerie because I realize who I was when I was here. Who was that guy? It's a different person. That's a hard part too, when you do revisit the past versions of yourself and, you know, maybe you weren't happy with who you were and what you did, but there's a little tinge of regret, of like wasted time almost. But none of it really could be wasted time. It can't be. It would only be wasted time if we didn't learn something from it. But I don't know if that necessarily helps. Like, it still feels like wasted time. It's not home. You don't belong. It doesn't feel right, but you don't necessarily know it consciously. But maybe you feel it, but you don't know what it is or what to do about it. I think I spent years in that place. If you have the opportunity to ever go back to an old place where you used to live and you've since changed, do it. Go back to that place, take a couple days, revisit it as a different person, as a different version of yourself. Feels like closure. Feels like everything's okay. It's almost forgiving. Feels like that right now, forgiveness. Like you come back and you have this new perspective and you're like, hey man, you didn't know any better. And that's okay. because now you do. I thought I'd have some profound wisdom, or maybe I'm trying to force it. Maybe there is nothing profound about any of this, and now it's just me walking down a boardwalk in Hong Kong in a place I used to live. Maybe that's all that is. You just live in a place and then you don't anymore. Things change, maybe they don't. Hopefully they do a little bit, but maybe not so much. Looking for wisdom in all the wrong places. Maybe I'm just making a connection when there's not one. We all suffer, we all struggle, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a result of the place that we live in, but the place that we live in is easily changeable. Not easily changeable, but changeable. So if we do struggle in a place, it's easy to move, relocate, try somewhere else. 3 a.m., maybe footage I'll never use, probably shouldn't ever use, but it's me. I feel like the cringier and weirder it is, I want to use it because I truly believe that everybody is just struggling or trying to figure things out, and the weirder and more honest we can be about, you know, oh shit, I had 4 beers and wandered around aimlessly at 3 in the morning. It's horrible. I can't be the only one that does that. We all have our own things that we want to figure out. It might be the tiniest little things, like cleaning your apartment, or when you get a new partner, trying to figure out their rhythm and trying to match it with yours and get your life organized and getting things in shape. You know, it's little things like that, but we all have them. So it's just, how do you figure it out? How do you deal with it? There's nothing here. There's no soul. There's no community. There's no flavor. Everything's fast and urgent and in a hurry and showy. Everything means something. It can't just be what it is. Perfect timing. Bright red Lambo. Just gunning her at 3 in the morning. Guess that about summarizes that, huh? I fucking hate this place. Hong Kong sucks. It's fucking brutal. It's gross, it smells. The streets are narrow. The fucking sounds of this light, this thing. I fucking can't stand that anymore. There's nothing here. I mean, fuck, there's restaurants galore. The food's fucking phenomenal, great. Come here for 3 or 4 days, maximum. That's even pushing it. What else, what do you need to see here? Walk the promenade, eat some fucking amazing food, get a triangle kimbap at 7-Eleven, and a beer. Don't go to LKF, wander both sides, see the island, come to Kowloon. Other than that, what else? Weird things like that every once in a while. Some guys screaming next to some pandas. Cannot believe I lived here for so long. How is that possible? I want to figure that out, I think. That's the price you pay for being unconscious. Get conscious, get aware, meditate, pay attention to everything you do in every moment of your life, and do the best you can to make better choices. I actually decided to come back to Chungwan Market, where I used to live. I used to come here a lot with myself for this dim sum right here. It's in the Chungwan Market, and it's just all the way in the back where the locals go. He was just kind of rolling them up by hand. Much, much cheaper than all the other places. One I went to the other day and tried it was Tim Ho Wan. Wasn't bad, but nothing like what this guy's got. I do like this because it still has a little bit of that like hidden gem atmosphere. Dingy looking, looks like a cafeteria, but it's got some good dim sum. Everything is for rent. Like, we're just here renting everything. I lived here for so long, and now coming back here, like, it just used me and then spit me back out, and now that's it. That's all this life is. You go to a place, you live there, and it spits you out, and then someone else new comes along. Not to compare other places, but you can't know how good something else is unless you have a reference point to compare it to. I always thought this was a really amazing city. I always wanted to live in a big city. Anyways, it's over now. It's all for rent. We're only here for a little bit, whether that's just on the planet or in life, or the places that we live, the homes that we have, the moments that we experience, they're all for rent. Everything. It's absolutely 100% for rent. The place will use you, spit you out, somebody else will come along. Or, you know, you might have a home and you live there your whole life. You know, eventually somebody else is going to live in there. Or they'll demolish it and build something new there worth something.
That's another thing. It's still weird. I don't want to call it vlogging, but recording when I'm in public. I know I say I don't care and I'll say whatever I want. I'm not worried about what other people think, but there's still a little bit. Not fear, but there's a little bit. I did actually have one major realization when I was walking around the streets of Hong Kong. When I was there, you know, and lost and in a rough place, one of the major reasons was I didn't have clarity of where I was going. That was the single reason. And when you don't have clarity, you don't have purpose, you don't have a mission. And I remember walking around that first day, the whole world for a little while just disappeared, which is exactly what you're looking for, almost tunnel vision. When you're pulled along by a mission and a purpose and you know where you're going, everything is so much easier. Just that alone made it worth coming here for a visit. I've seen a few of these videos of people just in the airport making social media content saying, hey, look, there are people everywhere. Nobody gives a shit. I'm gonna call bullshit. So many people stare so much and they're judging you or they're thinking something, but the worst they can do or the best they can do is just think a thought of you. And it's up to you if that thought matters. I disagree with that, like nobody really gives a shit. They kind of do a little bit. That's why we're all so terrified. Most people are so afraid to do something like this because people do care and they're judging it, and that's okay. But it's about doing it anyways. It's about really not giving a shit. It's about you not caring that other people do care. 3 lessons for 3 days. Realize that people do care, or maybe they think it's different, or they might be laughing or judging or whatever it is that they're doing, that everyone does. Whatever you do when you see people doing weird or different things, just accepting that for what it is. It's not to stop caring what other people think. It's to realize that they do care and then doing it anyways. Our brains are built for connection and comparison to one another, not the entire world, but our little tribe. So pick the people that matter to you, that are important, and whose opinions matter, and you care what they think. Pick a few people, and then care only about what those people think. Don't stop caring what people think. Realize that they do, and for those people that don't matter, fuck them. And then the second lesson was, there was a brief moment when I was just so into kind of filming or thinking about what I was going to say or reflecting. When I was in that moment, I just felt like I was being pulled in a direction forward. I had tunnel vision. Nothing else mattered, or I wasn't thinking about anything else. And that is incredibly powerful. Whatever it is, find it. Again, I struggled with finding my purpose and my passion and thinking about things. And does passion emerge, or do I take action first? And then, passion follows from my skills and talents. You just follow a curiosity, you start taking action, and then things are going to happen along the way. I think a lot of us, myself included, have to accept the fact that passion and purpose and finding what pulls you forward in your mission might change over time, but for the moment, in the moment, it should be that mission. It should be that thing. So as often as you can find that flow plus meaning equals vital engagement, and that's what you want. I think that was a huge part that I was missing, is I was always looking for that thing that like lit me up, that was fun, that I had energy for all the time. But it's not necessarily that. It has to be that mixed with something meaningful and purposeful. Saving the best for last, the biggest one. The whole reason I really came here was closure. Make sure you get closure on all areas of your life. Think of times and places and people in your life where there still might be an open loop. There are multiple different ways to close the loops on those things, even if it's just a simple message, or maybe even sitting and looking at some old photos of a place you used to live and visualizing some closure. You could journal about it for a couple days, 15-20 minutes each day, to process the emotions that you felt. The other new perspective was how much I had changed, but not as much as I had hoped or wanted. It's been 5 years, and you think a lot can change in 5 years, and it really, really can if you are focused on a singular goal, which for me was getting healthy and self-improvement and reading. And I did very well in those things. And you can too if you focus on those. But there is a transition point where you do too much of the introspection and the self-learning and the self-help, and you need to switch gears into the action mode. Take whatever pain and suffering you went through and make that into something. Start creating. I think we all need to create something. I'm such a big believer in that now because I am one of the most analytical people on the planet, a huge overthinker. It was one of the biggest things in my entire life was this overthinking and indecision and inaction. A bonus one is when you can, step outside of your situation and try to get an outside point of view. Daniel Kahneman talks about this in Thinking Fast and Slow. He calls it the outside in view and the inside out view. So when you're inside, you can only see what you know and what your group knows. As much and as often as you can, get outside of your situation. Try and step above, step away, step to the side, go up to the mountaintop and just look down at your life. Just reassess everything from there and see if you really are happy. I don't know if I was capable of doing that when I was living here in Hong Kong, but man, I wish I had that skill. Anytime you can try to step out, step away from everything and have a look at your life from a different perspective, tried to do that. And yeah, that was another thing that I learned in this trip. You can never go back and change anything, but you can go back and learn some things from your past. But another big part of that is when you learn those things, let it go immediately. Just tell your brain, that loop is closed, I've already handled that, and just let it go and move on, move right past it. Not really what I expected. I thought it would be kind of nice and more comfortable and I would enjoy at least some of it, but I was, still quite surprised of how little I enjoyed it. Only now I know from coming here and testing it out. See you back in Chiang Mai.